There are things in life that you just never thought you'd do. For me, vlogging is one of those things. I've done a ton of projects before, music videos, weddings, live events, but making vlogs like these where I'm talking to the camera is something I've never thought I would do. No, I was just watching some creators on YouTube and I thought, man, I want to try that. And you know what I did? I vlogged for 30 days straight, and here are the things that I learned. So number one is that confidence is a skill that can be learned. Growing up as an introvert, I've always thought that confident people have always been confident their entire lives. I just assumed that that's something that they were born with, and for people who doesn't have confidence, won't have that skill ever. But then something changed. So I used my biggest insecurity and somehow turned that into a strength. I've always been self-conscious with how I sound, how I look, and I thought maybe vlogging is a way for me to overcome that insecurity. I mean, if you know me, I'm probably the most introverted person you've ever met. Like whenever it's my turn to speak, even when I'm around with friends and family, I always feel like I want to just curl up into a ball and stay in the corner. I just don't like it when I talk and people look at me. I would rather not say anything for the rest of the night rather than people giving me attention. Alright, so knowing that, you probably think that I'm the least qualified person to be doing walk and talk videos on YouTube, which I totally agree. But the thing is, I really wanted to do something new. I wanted to improve my life. I want to be able to open more opportunities for work, opportunities for creative projects, and I can't really do that if I'm shy, if I'm doing this all the time. If you're an introvert like me, then you probably know that public speaking is something we fear the most. But when I did it, it wasn't so bad. So I shot the video, not really thinking what's gonna happen after that. I was just kind of like, okay, let's do it. Let's see if it's fun. So I did that for 30 days straight. And after a while, I stopped overthinking how I look, how I sound, and focused on the value that I was putting on the video. So in that way, it kind of distracted me from all the superficial things and just focused my mind on what really matters. It's almost like that anxiety that comes with the fear of getting unwanted attention just went away. Before, I was so afraid that people would hear me talk, but then now, at any given opportunity that I can speak, I almost get excited. I can say it's almost the same feeling I get when I play drums in front of a crowd, because I'm so confident with the instrument. I just want everybody's attention, and right now I kind of feel the same way when I speak. So basically, confidence is one of those things that you have to practice to get better, but it doesn't mean that if you don't have it, then you can't develop it over time. I feel like it doesn't really matter if you're not confident. If you look confident, if you look the part, then that becomes the reality. So the second thing that I learned after vlogging for 30 days straight is that gear doesn't really matter. It kind of feels weird saying that because I have a mirrorless camera, but I also have a really old camera from more than a decade ago, and I still use that. In this day and age, the technology in these cameras have gotten so good that it almost doesn't matter which one you pick. Whichever camera you buy, you're gonna be happy with it as long as it's not broken. It doesn't automatically power off every 2 minutes, or it doesn't overheat, or if the SD card suddenly gets corrupted. I only really got this camera because I wanted to make a little bit more money doing the hobby, and this gives me pro features. But if I didn't have this camera, I would still be happy with the old one that I have. Point is, gear doesn't really matter as much. It only becomes a problem when it prevents you from doing what you want to do. Alright, so for the third biggest lesson that I learned after vlogging for 30 days straight is that overthinking kills creativity. Man, I cannot stress this enough, bro, but there have been so many times where I had an idea, I wrote it on paper, I had the draft. I was gonna do this crazy angle. I was gonna climb some trees, some logs in the middle of a flowing river. Craziest idea, but it just didn't come together as I expected. The more time I spent planning, the more I was realizing that I wasn't gonna be able to do it. All those trees that used to be covered in bright yellow leaves are now brown and ugly. The aesthetic wasn't there anymore. So I probably have to wait another year before I can do that. I kept overthinking every single thing. And had I started actually filming, then I would have had that bomb-ass video that I really wanted to make. Point of this is, I'm not gonna hold on to that regret. I'm gonna use that as a lesson for my next creative project. Man, I've been talking here for so long. I think I need to go home, bro. So basically, to summarize the video, the 3 things that I learned after vlogging for 30 days straight: confidence is a skill that can be learned. Camera does not matter. Overthinking kills creativity. No, I've always wanted to make vlogs, but I just never thought that I'd use my voice, and it's kind of fun. If you're watching until the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I hope everything I said made sense, and I'll see you in the next video.